Welcome to this Moving Panels One Shot. Let's have a nerdy little conversation. And today we're doing a topic that I've actually wanted to do for a while now. This is something that has popped up. You've probably seen several articles on this, and we're going to discuss it. How do we get Keanu Reeves into the MCU? And joining me to discuss this, I got two fellow podcasters. First up, following on my screen, first up from the Pop Culture Roulette podcast. Give it up for Nicholas Pepin.
Hello.
And from Interview with a Horror Virgin, it's Mr. James Brooks.
Hey, everybody. What's up?
All right, so here we go. We're just going to go around. We're going to talk about who do we think Keanu Reeves could play. You know, we'll discuss it amongst each other, what we think could be good or not. I'm going to go ahead and tell both of you, he cannot play Wonder Man because that's reserved for Nathan Fillion.
Okay.
All right. Well, Wonder Man was not on my list anyway, so.
Well, I'm just pointing that out. That's reserved for Nathan Fillion. He was even supposed to, quote unquote, be Wonder Man in the original Guardians of the Galaxy, but they cut all of those parts out. Like, he was in posters because, you know,
right.
Wonder Man's an actor. He was in posters, and they just cut them all out. But Nathan Fillion's got to play Wonder Man. Also, I've seen this one on some websites, so I'm going to go ahead and say no to this one. He's not playing Wolverine, and that's just because.
Oh, no.
I have no other reason other than he's not playing Wolverine.
I've already.
I mean, the man's almost 60.
There's that, but I've already decided that Jared Kesso from Letterkenny should be Wolverine.
Ooh, yeah, that would be, and he's Canadian, so the added bonus there.
I like that.
What do you think of the? We're talking about Keanu Reeves, but now we're getting off on subject here. What do you think about the thoughts of Daniel Radcliffe playing Wolverine?
I'm also okay with that one after seeing Lost City.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I mean, it would be so off character and it would be weird to see him do it because, I mean, we have an image of Daniel Radcliffe as one thing, but, I mean, he is a professional actor, so it's not like, and he's got one thing that like, Hugh Jackman doesn't have. He's short.
He's short, yeah. All right, James. I heard the.
I mean, so. I couldn't really see him playing Wolverine. Maybe Nightcrawler, but I don't know. I don't really see him as Wolverine.
Ooh, Nightcrawler wouldn't be too bad. All right, but let's get back on subject. Today we're talking about Keanu Reeves, Ted, Neo, dude from Point Break. I don't know what his character's name was, but we're talking about Keanu Reeves. John Wick, which is where I really think like that portrayal, just thinking of Keanu Reeves and John Wick, helped lead to a lot of my decisions. I'll probably go ahead and say that. But let's go ahead and get started, and I'll let guests go first. So, Nicholas, who's the first person? We're not going to say this is any particular order, but who is the first person you say, what character could Keanu Reeves play in the MCU?
The first character I thought of immediately was Ghost Rider.
Really?
I mean, I know.
You don't like the idea of Norman Reedus? Which a lot of people have said?
I do like the idea of Norman Reedus. I mean, if they went either way with it, I'd be fine. But I mean, like, that was just immediately the first person I thought of was Ghost Rider. I mean, the classic Johnny Blaze version.
Oh, yeah.
You know, not the Danny Ketch or the however many other Ghost Riders there have been. But
yeah, I can see it. What about you, James? With Ghost Rider, like, do you agree with Ghost Rider?
I agree with Ghost Rider 100%. I mean, you know, he's got the demeanor for it. He's got that John Wick presence. He could totally pull off this Ghost Rider role, like, without a problem at all.
Yeah, I don't know. The fact that he's pushing 60 years old to play a stuntman, you know, I get the Ghost Rider stuff would be all CGI, but I don't know how believable he'd be. I'm all for the Norman Reedus on that part, but I've seen a lot of the Ghost Rider. I think a younger Keanu would have been a great Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that the older John Wick Keanu is like, at some point he turned the corner. I mean, I love Bill and Ted and that younger Keanu, but younger Keanu isn't as good of an actor as older Keanu.
True. Much Ado About Nothing Keanu is horrible.
I was thinking the accent from Dracula.
Oh, yes.
Wait, I don't even have this one on my list. What if he played Dracula?
I
Okay, I forgot that Dracula was an MCU character when I was making my list. All right, why not?
Because we got Blade coming, and that's how Blade was introduced, was in the Dracula comic.
Yeah. Also not
I'm
on
sure
my...
there's a whole licensing thing there, though.
yeah, definitely.
Well, I don't know. Dracula's in the public domain, though, right?
I think the word Dracula is public domain, so I think it's just like as long as they don't use certain element, it's like the whole.
It's like as long it can't look like Bela Lugosi because
Right.
that's owned by Universal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
And also have to like be careful with the book as well, because I know they may have some issues with the actual novel itself. Who knows?
And
I think the novel is public domain.
oh,
and
really?
didn't
Okay.
and didn't what's his name? Oh, geez, I'm blanking on the guy. He played he was in John Doe and Prison Break, and then Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Wentworth.
Yeah, no,
I can't think of
no,
his.
not Wentworth. The other one, the guy who not from Mr. Freeze, or no,
Not Captain Cold.
not Captain Cold, but his partner.
But Heatwave.
Yeah, Heatwave.
Heatwave.
Didn't he?
I can't think of the actor's name
Right?
now.
Didn't he play Dracula in Blade 3?
Oh, I think he did in Blade Trinity. Yeah, I think you're right. Wow, and honestly, that's a movie I hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
We still got to do Blade 2, so
Yeah. All right, so we got Ghost Rider. All right, James, who do you have?
Again, even though it's his age, I still would like to see this because this is one of my personal favorite X-Men characters, Gambit.
ooh, on my list.
Ooh, yeah.
On my
yeah.
list.
Not on my list, but okay. You're good with seeing, and again, I have to go back to the age. You're good with seeing a 60-year-old guy flipping around and.
I mean, he's obviously in really good shape, even for being 60.
True.
Being 60.
Yeah.
I think the only issue I would have with that is that we don't yet know how the X-Men are going to be established in the Marvel Universe. I have ideas, and I know that's a one-shot you said you wanted to do. So I don't know how much you want to. I don't know how much of that is something you want to talk about now.
We've talked about it in other episodes before. Yeah.
But I mean, if you do something with the multiverse of madness, and you bring in an already established, this universe has had the X-Men for decades.
Yeah.
You could bring in already established X-Men characters. If you go with whatever the Eternals just did, or whatever the snap from Thanos happened, or whatever incursion is about to happen because of Loki and Doctor Strange, awakens the dormant mutant gene in 616, then obviously you have to go younger with all of the mutants. So it really depends on how you bring them into the MCU in the first place. But I do love
very true.
I do love the idea of I think Keanu as Gambit would be
Excellent.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not against that. Even at his age, I think you could even. I mean, he doesn't have to be the flipping and flopping version of Gambit. I think depending on how it's written, he could play a version. But so okay, so we got Ghost Rider, we got Gambit. Since you brought up X-Men, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this one out. And I think this one, no matter how they bring the X-Men in, I think he could play Mr. Sinister.
Ooh, I've got that one on my list too.
Yeah, also on my list.
I mean, he looks already very similar to Nathaniel Essex.
Yes.
And, I mean, again, yeah, you probably put him in a lot of CGI makeup and, the little dots on his face like they do for Vision once he's the Mr. Sinister as is. But I think bringing him in, I mean, they've teased it for so long. Because they teased it through the Wolverine movies. They teased it in New Mutants. It is... To bring the X-Men in and do something new with the X-Men, where it's not just Magneto again as their villain, to just go straight, or Apocalypse, because they failed at that miserably.
Shame.
To just bring in Mr. Sinister. I think that would be a great role for Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I think so too. Plus, they could also bring Cable into that if they wanted to, if they decided to go the Mr. Sinister route. Because I wouldn't mind seeing Cable come back
As Josh Brolin.
Surprisingly, yes, I would love to see him come back as Josh Brolin.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, all of the X-Men characters, it really depends on how they're going to bring it in, because I mean, it also depends, like, do you sign them to a 1 movie deal, a 3 movie deal, like,
the way that they do, yeah, that's true, because he could just be a one-off villain like they do tend to do from time to time. I don't know, but I'm definitely all for Mr. Sinister. All right, Nicholas, who you got next?
It's something that people have been hoping for, and that was the whole, like, this is going to be the villain of this show. No, it's going to be the villain of this show.
I know what you're going to say.
Let's do it. Let's finally give it to it, and let's give him Mephisto.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love it.
I jotted that name down as well. I was like, let's just give him Mephisto.
I mean, and you don't necessarily even have to go comic accurate. You can just, I mean, that's, you can just, you don't even have to put him in a red suit, or, I mean, I guess you could put him in like a red tux, or you don't have to put the, red face, or, the classic devil horns or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think he could pull that off.
And it would be a great role for him with the Devil's Advocate.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, being such a movie, staple for him, to turn it around and have him be, quote unquote, the devil.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. I'd like that.
I'm totally for Mephisto. That was one on my list. I didn't put a lot of thought into it, but I did write down Mephisto. So, yeah, I think we're all good with that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, James, who you got next?
All right. Just because this character was adapted poorly in the Netflix show, and I still want justice for this character, Iron Fist.
Really?
Yes. Again, the age is the problem, but just I kind of played around with the idea a bit. I was about to say, I think he would have been a better Iron Fist than what we got. I'm not blaming the actor.
Anyone would have been a better Iron Fist than who we got.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So it's not like anything was really lost. It was just I like Iron Fist. I have a few of the comics, and what they did to him in Netflix, I didn't really like it. No, I don't think anybody did. So bring it back, but maybe, I don't know, make him older, make him cooler.
I don't know. I'm not jumping on Iron Fist right away.
Yeah.
If he could do it, but I don't know. Like, I see. I mean, I agree with you. The Netflix series wasn't very good. I feel like the look was there. Like, they just didn't necessarily pick a. And I don't know how much it was his fault. If he was charismatic enough, or if it was just bad writing. I don't really know.
Yeah, there's some of that in there too with the writing. Because, I mean, I'm not gonna speak necessarily poorly of Finn Jones, but yeah, that was not a good Iron. After you have the amazing Daredevil show, and then Luke Cage was well written.
Yes.
On top of Mike, I forgot his name.
Coulter.
But yeah, Mike Coulter, who's playing Luke Cage. The writing in Luke Cage I thought was great. Jessica Jones, I think a better character than a better story.
It took a while.
But yeah, Iron Fist, it's like none of it worked. None of it meshed. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Nicholas there, James, and say that's a bad call. I'm not.
Understandable.
Yeah.
He knows kung fu, though. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that popped into my head. I was gonna say it when you said, "Is it because he knows kung fu?" Okay, I don't know why. I have a lot of villains on my list. What if he was Doctor Doom?
Yes, I have that one too.
Also on my list.
I mean, even the aspect of the Doom that suffers all the loss and the bitterness that Doom has, and dealing with all of that downsized stuff that I don't think anyone's really portrayed with Doom yet. I think Keanu could do that. Even behind the mask, I think Keanu could pull that off. I think he could definitely play a wronged villain who feels like, because this is the great thing about a lot of villains with Marvel, is that he's a villain that you really can sympathize with, but at the same time, you absolutely hate. And I think Keanu Reeves could pull that off.
And I would like to see when they do Fantastic Four here in the very near future, them just starting, like not give, we've had the
No origin
no
story.
origin,
Yes,
just
please.
started.
Yeah.
We don't. I mean, I don't necessarily know if the Fantastic Four story is known well enough that you don't have to kill Martha and Thomas again. But
yet they always do.
But you can. I think you can start it far enough in, and then maybe just make references to.
Yeah, I think there's enough you could explain in the movie.
Like, so, having Keanu Reeves as an established Doctor Doom, not, because, I mean, that was among many, many other problems that the Fantastic Four that Josh Trank did had. I mean, trying to young everything up to the level of, like, none of this makes sense was part of it. And
I like that. I like the idea of having Doom being older than the Fantastic Four.
Yes, I like that too.
Just so that he is, there's more of a reason for him to actually kind of hate the Fantastic Four or just, have the kind of power that he has. Being able to take over an entire country.
Getting his mother's soul back from a demon.
Looking exactly like Mephisto.
All right, yeah. So all for Doctor Doom. All right, let's do one more round, see how it goes, and then we'll maybe finish up from there. So who else you got, Nicholas?
Man, I've got a few left here, but so I'm trying to decide where to go.
We can do maybe like rapid fire,
but
but let's do one more kind of talking it out round.
I guess just to stay in the world of Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer.
Yep, I have that one.
Yeah, I've seen that name a lot. I'm not against it if he, like, if they decide to do the origin. I have no problem with him playing Norrin Rad, and then as soon as he becomes Silver Surfer, it's just a voice, and I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, it's obviously, I mean, the problem with a lot of these characters is that Keanu Reeves is not built like Chris Hemsworth.
True.
No. So he's not going to be able. You're either going to have to hide him in the CGI costume or pick something like Doctor Doom's outfit, where you can kind of hide the beanpole nature of Keanu Reeves. I mean, he obviously's got strength and he's physically fit.
He's fit.
Yeah, he's physically fit. Looking at him in the John Wick movies, but if you tried to you couldn't necessarily make him Thor.
You could maybe make him Loki.
Yeah,
Loki
I think you could.
Yeah.
No, I'm okay with Silver Surfer. I think, like I said, I don't know what I think, because I was gonna make an argument, but then I would have contradicted myself when I said Doctor Doom. So I'm just gonna shut up now. What you got, James?
I was gonna do Kraven the Hunter, even after seeing everything that we've had with the next Kraven the Hunter, but I kind of would like to see him as Kraven.
Yeah, they're about to screw that up royally, though.
Well, that's Sony for you. I mean,
yeah, you know what? I didn't even think too deep into Spider-Verse. Norman Osborn did pop into my head, and depending on the route they went with, him being Green Goblin, but that popped into my head. Yeah, I think the only thing that I'm gonna kind of say to that one is, unfortunately, they've already cast Kraven the Hunter, and
yeah, that's why I left him off my list. Because I mean, if they had cast Kraven like 10 years ago, but I mean, clearly we're stuck with Aaron Taylor Johnson for a while.
I was just throwing that out there because I was just every time I kept going, when you mentioned the whole Keanu thing, I was like, I can just see it. Like, come on.
Yeah. If they hadn't already casted it, I could definitely see that as well. I just love, Part of me wonders, though, with casting Aaron Taylor Johnson, is you go, so we definitely aren't getting Quicksilver anymore? Is that what you're telling me? Or they're going back to the X-Men version of Quicksilver. So
who knows?
Maybe that's the case. All right, last one. I have two that I want to choose from, but here's the one I think I'm going to go with, because I think this will be a better conversation. What if he played Nova? Now, y'all just shocked. And here's my thing. I know Nova is typically a teenager, but let's think about this the way they did Ant-Man. There have been two Novas, Richard Rider and Sam Alexander. So what if, just like they did with Ant-Man, we have Keanu play an older Richard Rider, and he is passing the mantle on to the younger, teenage-aged Sam Alexander, in kind of the same way they did with Ant-Man.
Okay, that
I
works.
don't hate it.
Yeah.
I kind of like that story. I meant like it could work. It's been Nova. I didn't see that one coming. I really didn't.
So he's still in there. He's still a superhero, but we don't really see him in the big fights, in the big battles.
Mm-hmm.
He might have to, step in once or twice, in a Nova movie or Guardians of the Galaxy, however they would introduce him. But yeah, that was one I definitely really wanted to think was Nova. I mean, it's like I said, it's different, but I like it. Him as the mentor to a new hero.
That I like that version better than just casting Nova as an older. I've never really honestly been a fan of the Nova character anyway.
Yeah.
That might be my only drawback to it, is that like normally like Nova just annoys me. So, I don't know why. The cosmic comics tend to be where I check out. Like I don't know. That's But but then again, I also suggested Silver Surfer, so I guess I'm contradicting myself as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Just quick. I'll mention a couple others that are on my. In fact, I only think I have 2 more on my list that I haven't mentioned already. Galactus and Namor.
Okay.
I know that Namor is probably going to show up in Wakanda Forever later this year, so he's probably already been cast. But until I see it, I'm going to say Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. I mean, anything's better than the last Galactus we got, so yeah.
The giant cloud.
The cloud, yeah.
No, I agree as well. Like Galactus at this point is kind of like a blank slate. Anybody could, so why not? I think he could do it.
Well, we'll go backwards this time. So, James, you got any more? Just rattle them off, and we'll talk about whichever one we want to talk about.
Right. This one I just kind of put like in a miscellaneous because I don't know what we're going to do yet with the Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Magus.
Ooh, random. Okay.
Not familiar with that one. That one is kind of, So,
yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I meant like, because I think they've already cast for Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
Yes, they have.
And I don't know if they're going to do the Magus persona. I don't know if they are or not. I meant like they could. That would make him a good villain to start with, and then he becomes Adam Warlock. Because Magus is like his other half, I guess, the evil half.
Yeah, but Magus is usually portrayed as just like, almost like a Brainiac type character. Like, very techno and robotic and I see it now. Johnny Mnemonic. There you go. Okay. Yeah. There we go.
There we go. Cast right there.
All right. No, I think if they do Magus, they'll use the same actor, I think.
Okay.
I think they'll just use the same actor. Anybody else on your list?
Oh,
James?
For me? Oh, yes. Funny enough, MODOK.
I think I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why. Okay. I think even though Patton Oswalt's already been introduced as a different character, I think he kind of owned that character in the animated series.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that MODOK is the animated series is canon. So
no, it's not. Yeah, it's definitely not.
I'm sure. Why not? He could have fun with it. I mean,
the transformation, maybe maybe not just be MODOK right away, but show the whole. I don't know.
Yep. All right. Anybody else?
Nope, just those 2 for me.
All right. Nicholas, who else you got rapid fire?
Okay, Beta Ray Bill.
Okay, I can see that. I mean, it would be voice only, but I can see
I
that.
can do that.
Because for me anyway, he's more of an unknown. Korvac.
I don't actually think I know that character.
He has a lot to do with the he's an alternate universe, so that now that's opened up, he definitely is involved with the Beyonder and the Grandmaster. And,
that's it. That's where I remember him. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, there's that.
So since we're going cosmic, go with some of the cosmic characters.
Okay. Which I also put Beyonder on the list as well, since they are establishing Secret Wars. You've already got Grandmaster and Game Master. and the Collector. So you've already established that group. Gladiator, although he might be too old for Gladiator.
Yeah.
And then again, X-Men, if you're going to bring it in and you want to do a villain other than, just doing Magneto, Annihilus.
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
I'm honestly thinking about your Gladiator thing. That's actually not bad. Yeah, it would be interesting to see him in that.
I mean, you'd have to CGI both. Well, obviously, both of the costumes are completely change the costume for Annihilus, but I mean, I do like you. I seem to have put Keanu in the villain role in a lot of the MCU characters, which is weird because he doesn't do villain often.
No, yeah, I could definitely see some, and the route y'all are taking also made me think of what if he played Graviton?
I'm
and again, y'all go quiet. I give one and y'all just go quiet.
You're picking some interesting ones. Like I said, the Nova's the one that really caught me off guard, but Graviton.
I mean, they had Graviton in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., although it was this stupid version of him. But, they brought him in on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I think they've kind of said that's an alternate universe.
Okay, I see it. I definitely... Okay, I remember from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now, too. All right.
Yeah, but, I mean, that could even be interesting, because, they're talking about a Thunderbolts movie, having Graviton being the main villain of Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
I think the more we talk, the more characters we're going to think of.
Oh, gosh, don't get me started.
I think, though, out of all of this, who were we the most? Who would you say we were the most yes on? Was it Doom?
I think Doom was up there. It was definitely towards the top.
Definitely Dr. Doom.
Mr. Sinister was pretty popular as well.
Yeah, I think Doom, Sinister, and Silver Surfer was probably the one that the three of us probably were the most into seeing.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Maybe Mephisto.
Yeah,
that's
of course. Of course. It's got to be Mephisto.
The best thing to do for his age, I guess is what we're saying. The other ones were good, like Gambit, but again, it's the age. So I think those roles would be good for him. They would be the best typecast for Keanu.
Now, at the top of the show, I said absolutely no to Wonder Man and no to Wolverine. I'm going to give you all the chance for that. Is there an absolutely no? No. Keanu Reeves cannot play that part.
I mean, because I'm afraid of some of the stuff that they've recently said, I want to say no to Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards.
Ooh, good one. And since we were on the whole villain thing with the X-Men, this kind of just popped into my head because I don't think we'll ever see this villain, but Onslaught.
Yeah. Again, random, but yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of characters I don't really want to see him do, but I can't think of any off the top of my head until you would how about, Magneto? Well, no. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that is the thing. I just didn't know if y'all had, kind of like I said, I had the just already in my head. I've already casted, or, really, they had already cast Nathan Fillion to be Wonder Man. And then Wolverine's got to be someone younger, shorter would be great. I'm good with either of the actors we talked about.
Scorpion?
Yeah. So though, no. Well, I mean, they already have Scorpion in the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
And again, yeah, I'm not thinking Spider-Verse all that much. He would have been a much better Carnage than Woody Harrelson.
Oh, anybody would have.
Dang, I even think he could have played Vulture, but I'm not against Michael Keaton. Let's see, Spider-Verse. Who could he play in the Spider-Verse?
I mean, I was about to say he could do Doc Ock, but I don't know if I'd want to see him as Doc Ock. Mainly because Alfred Molina is Doc Ock for me.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got
Dr. Octavius.
Yeah, I would have to think about the Spider-Verse. Well, any last thoughts either one of you have about Keanu Reeves in the MCU?
Well, you posed a question at the beginning of what would it take to get Keanu Reeves into the MCU? And I believe the answer is money. Money.
Yeah,
it would take
paycheck.
Money.
Yes.
It would take a nice
because
paycheck.
I do know that at some point they said that Kevin Feige has called Keanu on almost every MCU movie property and been like, "Hey, come on, you want it?" And he's been like, "I'm good."
Oh,
So I mean,
I think though,
they have actively been going after Keanu for a while now, and I don't know, because he's such a bizarre person. I don't know. Actually, for that matter, I don't know if money actually motivates him because he has so much
I
of
was
it.
gonna say, I think it has to be the right role.
Because he has so much of
That's
it
what
at
I
this
think it has
point.
to.
Like I just think he just only does what interests him.
Yeah. Which, going back to the other conversation we had, that's Daniel Radcliffe too.
mm-hmm.
Unless he just wants to play Wolverine, he's not. They're not going to be able to talk him into it, because Daniel he's raking in that Harry Potter money.
Oh
And he
yeah.
can just do whatever he wants.
Which is why he does farting corpse movies.
Yeah.
I love Swiss Army Man.
I still have to see that one. Completely off topic. Well, not completely off topic, but changing gears. This is where I want to end before we sign off. Would you be good going to the other side? Would you be good for him returning as Constantine?
I don't know. I mean, he did a fairly decent job with Constantine. The movie could have been better. It could have been worse. I just, at this point with DC, they just almost need to do. I want to say they need to do a hard reset, but they've got a couple good pieces in place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they just need to kind of say, we failed miserably. We're starting over again. Let's get away. Let's just not acknowledge anything. Well, it what it is, and now we're moving on. And
But you talked about Keanu showing interest. There have been articles saying he is interested in doing Constantine again.
I'd see it.
So-
I mean, I'd give him my money. Like I would.
Yeah, no, I would too.
I'd cast him in a heartbeat. I meant like
I mean, it
I
doesn't
love the
matter.
movie.
It's a comic book movie. I go, okay, here.
I mean, and we could have a whole nother podcast episode just on what he would do in the DC universe other than
Yeah.
Constantine.
We could come back to that as well. But I think we'll end it here with talking about Keanu in the MCU. Thank you, James. Thank you, Nicholas. But thank you, everybody, for listening. Rate and review us. And give these guys a follow. Check out Interview with a Horror Version. Give that a listen. Give us a quick synopsis, James, of what to expect on that, or maybe...
So what I do is I take people who haven't seen certain horror films, like some of the classics, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. We do a before interview. What do you expect from the film? Are you going to be scared? And then we go watch the film. And then as soon as we get done with it, we jump right back into recording to get their reaction when it's nice and fresh. And we give the film the rating to see if they would recommend it and try to expose them to the horror universe a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm a huge horror movie guy, and I'm waiting on you to ask me again to be on it. So there are ones out there that I haven't seen. And then subscribe to Pop Culture Roulette with Nicholas and his buddies. Give us a quick rundown of what they can expect from listening to you.
We talk about whatever is happening in the current pop culture news, whatever we feel like talking about. Sometimes we'll give you overly long conversations about a vacation that I took. Sometimes we'll get into really nerdy conversations exactly like the one that we just had. The big thing is right now Pop Culture Roulette is a part of the Media Pod Smash family. And every year for October, well, starting last year, and it'll probably be a thing, we do what we call 31 for 31, where every day for the month of October, we release a different Halloween-related piece of content.
Ooh.
It's awesome.
It's a lot of work. It's more work for,
I'm sure.
It's more work for Jeremy than it is for me. But I mean, we didn't miss a day last year. I do horror through the decades, where I break down, because being 44, it puts me in 5 different decades. So I pick 70s, 80s, 90s, and then I pick a movie from a year based on whatever criteria I feel like picking, and I break it down, talk about it. Last year, I got a fun one with Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yes, I love it.
Great, love it.
And
love
then I picked a really bad one with Annihilation.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do better picks this year, but we're really big into AGT. So with America's Got Talent started back up, our overly complicated, overly unnecessary breakdowns will start again, especially when they
Okay.
get to the live rounds.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I expect to hear y'all sing the Parmesan song.
it's doubtful that we'll sing because none. Well, I was gonna say none of us do that, but Jeremy has a game where he does karaoke. But so I mean, basically anything we feel like talking about, we deem it pop culture and talk about it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's popular to you guys, and that's what
I
matters.
just
So-
subscribed.
You can find us on any of the major platforms. We do a lot of promotion through Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, you can find pretty much all of us out there in podcasting world, in Facebook and social media. So just give us all a follow, give us a listen, and I'll definitely have these guys back for either Nerdy Conversation or One Shot or to talk another movie. Nicholas is ready to talk about the rest of the Blade movies, and James, I know, will talk about pretty much any movie I want him to.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. But we'll end this here, and let's just keep hoping that Keanu comes into the MCU. But for today, for Moving Panels, I'm Laramie Wells, and I'll see you on the other side of the page.
What seems to be the problem, pal?
There's just so much pain in the world, so many issues. I don't think I can bear it.
Hell, friendo, it sounds like you could use a dose of pop culture roulette.
Pop culture roulette? What's that? Some sort of pop culture themed podcast or something?
That's right, sonny boy. When hope seems far, dive into some PCR.
But I already get my entertainment news from Variety.
Huh, that's pretty good. If you're a chucklehead, PCR gives you news you need, condensed, unfiltered, and raw, from three nerds who know a little something about something.
Wow, okay, sign me up.
That's the spirit. Pop Culture Roulette. New episodes every Monday, available on all major podcast directories.
Do you love movies of a certain age? Do you miss the days of VHS tapes and VCRs and video rental stores? Is the thought of another 80s movie being remade seem inconceivable? If you want to go back to school, back to the future, or even back to the beach, then the 80s Flick Flashback Podcast is for you. I'm Tim Williams, the creator and host, and on each episode, I'm joined by a guest co-host as we revisit a different 80s flick to discuss our first-time watch memories, iconic scenes, and even learn some behind-the-scenes stories along the way. New episodes drop every other Friday on your favorite podcasting platform. So make like a tree, get out of here, and go listen to an episode of the 80s Flick Flashback Podcast.